International Women's Day campaign, doTERRA is highlighting inspirational women in their organization. We're joined now by Erin Baskin for today's sponsored interview. Erin is a veteran. She's a mom, she's a wellness advocate with doTERRA, and an entrepreneur. Welcome, Erin, to the show. Glad you are here. Tell us more about you and your connection to doTERRA.
All right. Thanks so much for having me. So I was in the military straight out of high school, and that's relevant because connections are made in the military. And while I served, I went on 3 deployments, on one of which I met my husband. And I have been a military spouse now for quite a while. But anyone who knows the military knows that there are lots of moves. And when I left the military, I went into the fitness industry, and we ended up moving, and I met some really great people. And one of my friends, who is also a military spouse, introduced me to doTERRA because it aligned with what I was already doing. And she really wanted to help me with some of the effects of having been on some of those deployments.
So you became a wellness advocate. What is that? Talk about that.
So a wellness advocate is somebody who is very interested in natural wellness options. So maybe the things that they've used in the past haven't worked for them, but doTERRA encourages their customers to explore and expand and network with other people so that we can help.
So from there, you were introduced to something called the Water Boys program through a friend in the military. What drew you to that foundation? What's it all about?
Yeah, so the Water Boys program was something I heard about from a couple of friends that I was in the military with, that we were in Afghanistan together. And they're an organization that raises money to build wells in Africa. So they partnered with the NFL, and they take veterans and freshwater supporters over to Africa after we have spent a good part of the year fundraising, and we get to go see the villages that have received the wells. So we got to go to some schools, we got to go to a remote village, and see that these wells that we've fundraised, or that this organization has fundraised for, affects the lives of thousands and thousands of people.
So I hear you hiked Mount Kilimanjaro. With your training, how tough was that?
So I thought I was in pretty good shape. I'm a pretty active person. However, climbing a mountain is a little different. So despite my training, it was still one of the hardest things that I've ever done.
I can't even imagine. I can't. What are some of your biggest takeaways from that trip to Africa?
Well, so the trip itself was twofold. So we spent a few days going to the schools and going to the villages, and then we spent an entire week on the mountain. So I kind of have a takeaway from each. The first one is that it's important to disconnect. It's important to step away from our everyday lives. And if you get the opportunity to go and explore something that kind of scares you or seems really unfamiliar, like going to Africa and going to these villages and helping other people, then you absolutely have to do it. The other part of it is that we don't often, I think, disconnect enough. So if you can put your phone away and really live in the moment, then you absolutely ought to do that.
How are you different after this experience? How did you change?
Well, I have to be honest, it was really hard to come back. It was really hard to come back and see how much our everyday lives feel so overwhelming. So I'm trying to live in that. I'm trying to keep that with me and give that to other people as I move through this wellness industry and working with my friends and my family, and just reminding them that it's okay to just be in the now. And you don't have to worry about all of the things all of the time.
It's overwhelming, isn't it? And you got to experience a rare opportunity, and you said you enjoyed it to its fullest potential. So if anybody out there has an opportunity like that, they should take it?
Yes.
What an incredible story, everybody. To hear more from Erin, you can go to doTERRA.com/evolve together, or you can follow her as well on social media. It's qualified_wellness, and she's on Instagram, and we'll link you from our website at abc4.com. Thank you so much for joining us on that sponsored interview. Erin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha.